We are back, everyone, with our 17th podcast of Archway Sports Talk with Alan Dan. And I hope everyone had a great week. The Cardinals are playing better than expected, and the Central Division teams are also playing well, especially the Pirates. That's what I said, the Pirates. And they are leading the division, but don't get excited.
It's about damn time that they start doing
something, all those draft choices, right?
15 years of top 10 picks. My God.
It's already starting, guys. It is early. Remember, it's a long season, and the Cardinals' starting pitching is still a question mark, with Palante and Leahy averaging only 4 to 5 innings an outing. Dustin May seems to be coming around. It looks like he has turned it around. The last 2 starts, he's gone 6 innings, which is not too bad. We like 6 to 7 innings, but we'll take the 6. Next, guys, we're going to move on to my bugging segment called What's Bugging Al. And what's bugging me this week is this segment focuses on third baseman Nolan Gorman, who was more inconsistent than St. Louis weather. When he's going to take the next step, okay, when is he going to take the next step? He has power occasionally, but that's not enough. Maybe he needs to visit the hitting lab Jordan Walker went to improve his swing. Gorman had 1 breakout year and has been below average the last 2 seasons. He has showed signs of improvement at times, but he's very streaky. Here are some stats through 18 games. His batting average is .208. It's .611 OPS, not good. His swing and miss rate is still a problem, and walk rate. Strikeout rate for 2024 is 37%. And in 2025, 33%. Not much better, guys.
He'll be striking out more than a third of the time.
No, it's terrible. It's still swing and miss, and he has not improved much anyway. Here are some underlying metrics. Barrel rate down, exit velocity down. No easy fix. Let's face it, he was supposed to be a middle of the bat, and he is hitting 200 with declining power numbers. At some point, you have to stop waiting on potential and ask the tough question, guys. Is he actually developing, or is this who he is? And finally, how do you replace him? Through trade, our farm system. It's food for thought, guys. And I think Dan's got a few things he might want to say about this. What do you got, Dan?
Well, I don't think you can trade him because you're not going to get much for him at this point. With the batting average, not even his own weight. So, what do? You and I, we've talked about this issue, not just with Gorman, but with numerous players on both the Cardinals and the Blues. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? So, okay, who do you replace him with? If you get rid of him, who takes that spot? Somebody's got to play third.
That's the big question. Somebody's got to play third, take his place. Who do you replace him with?
So is there someone down in the minors who's ready to step up? No. I've looked at those numbers. I've looked at those players.
Right.
They don't exist.
Right.
Is there someone at the major league, on the major league team that's ready to assume that spot? Urias? No.
Nope.
Excuse me. Sajasi? No. Ramin? No. Urias can't hit his weight. He's under 200. And if Sajasi and Fermin were hitting, they would be playing more with the opening in left field. I think you're onto something with the lab Walker went to.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't need to send Gorman there right now in season. Maybe you can do that in the off season, but not in season. How about this? Why not have Walker go over some of the things he learned while at the lab to try and correct what's going wrong with Gorman's swing?
With Gorman's swing, yeah.
Well, here's another thought. Maybe the Cardinals should install a smaller version of that lab with the instruction and technology. There's an empty warehouse just on the south side of the stadium, across from Kilroy's Bar.
Okay.
So
that fine local establishment.
Yeah, that they could convert very easily into a very small version of that lab. You know, you don't have to have it for as big as what that lab is done in Florida.
Right.
But if you have a couple of pitching cages and a couple of hitting cages, with all the other technology and whatnot, and the instructors there to help them.
Sure.
Now they could go there before a game.
Right.
You know, maybe they go over there before noon, get some work in there, find out what's going on. But that's something they could do locally. I like the youth. But if you're going to have a young team, then you need a way to reinforce the mechanics and the muscle memory and the instructors who can break down the bad habits and course correct.
Well, Dan, I'm going to add this. I know we do this in our pre-warm-up, but Cardinals saved a lot of money this year, not really signing anybody. I think they can afford to put a little money into a training facility close to the stadium. What can it hurt? Like I said, these guys need help, and the only way to find out that they can get better is put it through this training.
Well, they did it down in Jupiter at their spring training complex.
Yes.
But I think you need to do this at the major league level, and maybe even a smaller version at the minor league, at all the minor league facilities. And you have to have the instructors, and it wouldn't hurt to have a roving hitting instructor, a roving pitching instructor, a roving catching instructor, someone who can go there and work with these players and get them on a path that is going to lead to good production.
I agree. Let's hear that, guys. So if any guys from the Cardinals organization are listening or watching, that's food for thought, guys. Think about it. Just our thought.
They're listening.
Somebody listening, hopefully.
Some things have been happening again, folks, that somebody's listening. I don't know who it is.
But we're glad. Thank you very much. We're happy you guys are listening and watching. We appreciate it.
Yeah, just let us know. We got all kinds of ideas.
What do we got next, Dan? We got we're going to move on, guys, and we got Dan's Cardinals corner. Dan, what do you got?
All right. So on the 18th, the Cardinals went down to Houston for a 3-game set against the Astros, and defeated the Astros 9-4 in the first game. Kyle Leahy towed the rubber for the Cardinals and went 5 innings pitched. Remember the number. And throwing 83 pitches. Remember that number as well. Over those 5 innings, he gave up 5 hits. Remember that. 3 runs, all earned, 6 Ks, and 0 walks. In some ways, the outing can be viewed as an improvement. But he needs to stay out of deep pitch counts. This will allow him to go deeper into games. And this applies to several other pitchers on the staff as well. It's not just him.
Oh yeah, we got a few. We're gonna name them shortly.
It's essentially the whole rotation. Gruel, Romero, and Soriano had clean innings, with Romero giving up a hit. But in the 8th, Ryan, I can't stand it anymore, came in and said, I think I'd like to make things a little interesting.
A little bit, just a little
just
bit.
a tad.
Little bit.
He needed 29 pitches to throw 1 inning and gave up 2 hits, 1 run. It was earned. 2 walks, 3 Ks. Burleson and Pages hit doubles.
I got nothing.
And Herrera and Gorman went deep. Herrera's second and Gorman's third. On the 18th, the Cardinals played Game 2 of a 3-game set and defeated Houston by the score of 7-5. But it wasn't easy or pretty. St. Louis was up 7-1 going into the bottom of the 8th. Swanson and Soriano made it interesting by combining for 1 1/3 innings pitched with 1 hit, 4 runs, all earned, 5 walks, 2 strikeouts. Swanson threw 24 pitches over 1 inning. Soriano threw 17 pitches over a third of an inning. Good Lord.
Hey, Dan, I got to say this. I'm going to throw it in real quick. I don't mean to interrupt you, sir, but I'm going to throw this in. It almost sounds like the Blues in the third period with 26 seconds left. They can't hold a lead. Whether it's one or two goal lead. It's just, I don't know.
It's overuse.
It's overuse.
Overuse.
Overuse of the pitching staff, and we've been talking about this. Marmol is terrible, and he hasn't gotten any better. When is anybody else going to see this? His use of pitching is horrible. I'm sorry I got a little frustrated, but let's move on, Dan.
Here it is. Palante, 5 innings pitched, throwing 87 pitches, scattering 3 hits and 1 run earned. Burleson had a big day with a double and a home run. And the Cardinals scored 7 runs on 9 hits and 4 walks. They also struck out 11 times. The strikeouts are just piling
They are piling up. That's not good. 11 strikeouts.
And again, 5 innings. You can't keep doing it. You're burning up the bullpen by having these pitchers just go 5 innings. And I don't know if this is by design or if they're just that horrible. Anyway.
Let's move on to the next game, big boy.
On the 19th, the Cardinals not only brought their bats, but their brooms.
Wow. Nice segue. I like it.
As well. To finish off the Astros with a sweep. Behind a strong outing by Matthew Liberatore, 6 innings. Oh, my God, somebody went 6.
You say 6?
I said 6.
We should circle that.
But he threw 82 pitches to get there. The Cardinals took a 4-1 lead into the bottom of the 8th. This time, collapse fell on an unlikely pitcher, Jojo Romero.
Overused
Jojo Romero, who gave up 2 hits, 3 runs, all earned, plus a walk and a hit, didn't record a single out. Riley O'Brien came in and gave up a hit that the run counted. It was one of the 3 runs that JoJo gave up.
He gave up? Okay.
But, again, those 2 have been throwing a lot. Gordon Corceffo came in to record his first save of the season and give the Cardinals a 7-5 win. Speaking of wins, Mason was the offensive star of the game. How'd you like that?
That was pretty good, man.
Nice little segment.
That little segment. I like that, man. Mason's been turning around, though, too.
I'll tell you, I'm getting smooth.
Ted's getting big, guys. Ted's getting big. I can't contain him.
On Monday the 20th, the Cardinals went to South Florida to take on the Miami Marlins.
The fish. The
Cardinals lost 5-3. They got hooked. And Michael McGreevy took the loss. He's 1-2 on this fine young season. McGreevy was cruising until the 4th, 5th, and 6th inning.
Yep.
He ended up throwing 80 pitches. Well, there's that number. In 5 2/3. There's that number again.
5 innings, guys.
Giving up 5 hits. Yep, there it is. 4 runs, all earned. 3 Ks.
Well, McGreevy's not really a strikeout pitcher anyway.
No, but he's
He
not supposed to be be a hits giver up there either.
No.
Swanson and Fernandez had better, but not good outings. Mason Wynn, again, was the offensive spoon that stirred the team for the 2nd day in a row.
Man, you were just coming up with some.
I tell you.
Man. You're on a roll, brother.
I tell you, I'm straight butter.
Well, oh, there. What's next? What do you got?
Well, Cardinals fans, it looks like we have a common theme that's developing.
Yep.
And will continue all season long. Cardinals defeated Miami 5-3 on Tuesday the 21st. But the theme is inadequate starting pitching. And a lousy outing by, I can't stand it. May went 5 1/3 innings. he threw 97 pitches. Yikes. He gave up 6 hits, a run, it was earned, 5 Ks, 1 walk. This is unsustainable, and the bullpen will be burnt up by July. Stanek went 0 innings pitch, 32 pitches, 1 hit, 2 runs, all earned, no Ks, 3 walks. This means he threw 32 pitches and the rest of that slash line and recorded no outs.
Well, I didn't like this pickup when they got him, and I'm going to say it again. I watched him a lot when he was in New York. He couldn't find the strike zone. He was not good, and I'm just tired of saying it.
You know, throwing hard, throwing fast, upper 90s to 100 miles an hour.
But you got to.
That's fine. But if you can't throw it for strikes,
Right.
it doesn't do you much good. A 97-mile-an-hour fastball out of the strike zone is no different than an 84-mile-an-hour fastball out of the strike zone.
You got to throw it. You got to have location. You got to spot that fastball. And I don't know if he's got much of a breaking ball to mix it up with, but or he's got a sinker apparently.
It's safe to say this has not worked out.
I know it's early. It's early though, Dan, but I don't think it's going to work out.
And it's time to release him. Offensively, the Cardinals recorded 5 runs on 10 hits. Cardinals are still striking out too much and not walking enough. Burleson and Wynn continue to be the offensive sparks. And outfielder Nathan Church hit his 2nd home run.
Got a little pop in his bag, Church does. Huh?
Very little.
Did he go to church on Sunday? Maybe.
Better be praying. Better be praying that he can stay on the team. On 22nd, the Cardinals lost the rubber game to the Miami Marlins, 4-1. Wow. I'm going to change it up a little bit by talking about the offense first. 1 run, 4 hits, 2 walks, another 9 strikeouts. Wow. Now that's offensive. You won't win many games with a line like that. The Cardinals' lone run came on a home run by Ivan Herrera. Okay. Again, tell me if you've heard this one before. Starting pitcher Kyle Leahy, and I use the title starting pitcher very loosely, going 5 innings, 89 pitches. It's just plug and play with these guys. Right. Giving up 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. This is the definition of insanity. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. Leahy in the rotation is not working, but help is on the way, we think. Cardinals announced that they would be bringing up Hunter Dobbins this weekend to run a 6-man rotation during a long streak of consecutive games.
I believe 17 games in a row. Man.
Yeah. My guess is that Leahy will go back to the bullpen after the long stretch of games, providing all goes as planned. Other moves could come, providing the Cardinals would just call me.
Call Dan, please, guys. Please, drive me nuts. Somebody call him. But then anyway, it's not to put a knock on Kyle Leahy. We really like Kyle Leahy. But I don't think he's a starter.
Not as a starter.
Not as a starter. He's a 3-inning guy. He was lights out last year. I mean, he was damn.
If you notice, Leahy, Palante, all start running into trouble around the 4th inning or after the 4th inning. They can get you 3-4 innings, and then they run out of gas.
Can you say bullpen?
I can say release.
Yeah, well, Palante. I know you know my feelings on Palante. Enough is enough with him. He struggles to get out of the 2nd inning. I think he struggles to get out of his own way sometimes. I try to like the guy, I really do, but enough is enough. I think he needs to go in the bullpen. Maybe bring up some other guys we got in the farm.
I kind of like to see him in somebody else's bullpen.
Yeah, I know. You like to trade him, but you got to get him.
No, I just release him.
Release? Oh,
just release him.
That's strong.
Look.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say this. There are still some starting pitchers out there
that are
available that I'm sure you could get better outings than this. And I mean Lucas Giolito, I mean, Walker, Bueller, and dare I say, even Trevor Bauer, who's back in the States, folks.
Those are three names that could be had.
You could bring those guys in.
Yep.
They're going to give you 6-7 innings, if not more.
Well, I think Giolito would be happy with a 1-year deal. Dare I say pillow deal?
You
Dare I say?
dare all you want. I don't care if you dare or not. Just say it. Either one, any of those three. I don't know if Bueller will take a pillow deal, but 1 year is better than no years.
He's not playing for anybody now.
That's my point.
What am I saying? You know,
1 year is better than no years.
They signed Dustin May on a good deal, and they should look at that and say, hey, let me give it a shot here. I can get a good contract if I pitch well.
You only need them for this year.
Right.
And if you need to revisit a pillow deal for next year because maybe some of your starting pitching is not quite where you hoped it would be
Already yet.
for next year, there'll be other ones out there.
All right, let's move on from that, Dan. What do we got next? We got Blues news.
How about that?
Yeah, Daniel, what do you got for that, bud?
Well, we don't have much because the end of the season, the Blues didn't make the playoffs, but
they're playing golf.
we
right
do
now.
have a few tidbits, I should say, of information for all you hockey fans. On the 16th, NHL Central Scouting announced its final rankings for the 2026 NHL Draft. The lottery draft is currently scheduled for May 5th of 2026. It will determine the first 16 picks of the draft. St. Louis currently holds the number 11th, which is their own, and the number 15th that they got from Detroit. They also have what is currently the last selection in the draft that was that they got from the Islanders, but originally was Colorado's. So, if the hockey gods were to smile upon the Blues for a change, they could get the first and second pick in the NHL draft.
Wow.
Now, it's highly unlikely.
Yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
It's more likely that they're going to have the 11th and 15th, but
they had to go on a run at the end of the year, guys, and ruined it all. But I enjoyed that part. I enjoyed it.
I
Dan
was
didn't,
saying it the whole time. Stop winning. You're screwing things up.
At one point, they had the eighth pick, and now they wound up at 11.
They had the second pick at one point.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, they had to win 5 or 6 in a row, guys.
Just nobody listens to it.
Nobody listens.
So on the 23rd, the Blues announced that Jordan Kyrou underwent a minor procedure on his knee and should be ready for the start of the season. If this injury that required surgery was at the root of his low production, don't the Blues owe it to their fan base to hold on to him for at least another year while they develop a potential replacement? I think so.
And that was somebody nobody knew about his injury. So
No, it was hidden.
Yeah.
Look, it didn't just happen right after the season.
No. So when was he injured? How long has he been hurt? That's
how long was he
know.
hurt? How much did it bother him?
Right.
Why wasn't anything said? Why wasn't it? There's so many questions that could be asked about this.
Right.
But now that we know, I think we
I have a lot of questions.
I think we need to just stop with the trade.
Yep.
Let
him get healthy and let's see what he's got. I mean, where are you going to get a 25, 30, 35 goal scorer?
Well, they don't grow on trees.
They don't grow on trees. All right, guys, we're going to move on from Kyrou, and I'm going to do a little update with St. Louis City Soccer. St. Louis CC Soccer has been playing very inconsistent. This season, losing to the Seattle Sounders 4-1, but beating FC Tulsa in the U.S. Open Cup 4-0. They are sitting around 13th place, Dan, in the West. That's brutal. And at this point, St. Louis CC is sitting outside of playoffs. New coach, Johan, play better, damn it. Still can't find the answer for the team's inconsistent play. Hopefully, Coach Dominic's team can find the answer at home on the 25th. At 7:30 against the San Jose Earthquakes. I can already hear the place rumbling now, Dan.
Oh yeah.
This
What was
little
that?
play on that, little tremor action. This team has very talented players that are not living up to their potential. Maybe they need a wake-up call. It's not always the coach's fault, guys. Sometimes you got to look at yourself in the mirror.
Is the coach's wife's name Janet?
I do not know, Dan. Is it Janet's fault?
Janet?
Wow. Okay. Let's move on from that. The St. Louis Battlehawks are 2-2 in this young season through 4 games. This season's most recent loss was to the DC Defenders on the 18th in an away game, 28-22. After a surprising come-from-behind victory over the Birmingham Stallions, 34-30, when they were down by 21 points going into the fourth quarter on April 12th. My take, this team is very inconsistent. Also, beware of that word, inconsistent. Week to week.
Seems to be the word of this city.
Yes, inconsistent. The defense has been steady and made plays when needed. But the offense is ups and downs and has been key, and it has been key word, again, very inconsistent week by week. New head coach Ricky Shampoo Pro is trying to figure it out and still adjusting. Hope he can figure it out soon. They are playing the Orlando Storm away, and they are undefeated. Could be ugly, guys. Could be ugly. Hopefully, the offense can step up and move the ball and take some pressure off the defense. Final take on both teams. They are both playing inconsistent again. Sorry I keep repeating that, but it's the word of the day. At this point, both teams are very average at best. Both teams have new head coaches, and it will be a learning process for both players and coaches, guys. So let's have a little patience and wish them all the best. Moving on to our next segment, this is one of our favorite segments. And Dan, what do we got here?
St. Louis.
Down on the farm. Dan, we got a name coming up here that you've talked to quite a bit in our past podcast. And who do you got this time?
Yeah, I've mentioned him
a few times.
Yeah, a lot of these top 30 prospects, both baseball and hockey-wise, you're going to hear some of the same names over because there hasn't been any new ones brought in yet.
Right.
So, as we try and find updated information on them, statistics, and that, we like to just pass that on and keep these players' names in everybody's head.
So you guys can remember this when they actually show up.
That Al and Dan talked about first.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear this on too many other shows, if any. I can't think of any that
I don't hear
a show really,
Right.
highlights players down in the minors.
No, not a down the farm talk. Not a lot of special features, and we're not knocking any other shows, but they don't really talk a lot about the guys in the minors. And we like to stay in touch with those guys and let you know who's coming up.
That's why we do it. So today's Blues prospect is Adam Yurko. He's 20 years old, 6'5", and 197 pounds. Al and I both think with his size, he could add another
10, 15 pounds,
maybe 20, 25. And that would suit him just fine. He was drafted by St. Louis in the 2024 entry draft in the third round with the 95th pick. He played 47 games this year. He had 10 goals. 8 of them were even strength, 1 power play goal, and 1 shorthanded goal. He had 26 assists for 36 points. Yurko is a 6'5" forward with decent hands and some offensive know-how. He also is an intriguing prospect. He's a fine to good skater for his size in straight lines once he gets going. He can shoot and handle the puck with a wrister that comes off quickly. He protects the puck well and will make the odd soft area play. He's got a great shot and is hard to beat along the boards and is defensively responsible also. To me, he screams third line power forward. I don't, with his fine to good skater, you don't really want to see him up the middle. Now, could he maybe take a face off or two? Yeah, but he projects more with his size for someone to go in the corners, stand in front of the net, that kind of player.
So what are you thinking? Third line?
Third line on a wing.
That's not bad. That's a good thought for that guy there. That's
Or a third round pick.
third round pick. Not too shabby. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
We're going to move on, Dan, to your Cardinals prospect highlight. And I know we've talked about this gentleman before, and have fun with this name again, Dan.
Angelo Sitchi.
Chitchi.
Yeah, that's easy for you to say. He's 22, 5'11", 200 pounds. The Cardinals are saying that he could be up this year. I don't think so. He was drafted by Seattle in 2024 in the first round, 15th overall. So he's highly touted, but for him to jump all the way up to the majors in 2 years, he's really got to be some kind of special. I don't think he's quite ready just yet. I would say if you're going to see him, he might be up towards the end of next year. More likely 28. Seattle traded Sitchi to the Cardinals in the offseason as part of a 3-team deal involving Brendan Donovan. Despite his natural left-handedness, Sitchi is clearly a much better pitcher right-handed. And the Mariners announced ahead of spring training that he would be focusing on that side in 26. This is all before the trade. Cardinals agreed with that. With a 3-pitch mix as a righty, he has a chance to start. His fastball is very good, has very good carry up in the zone, and he can run consistently up into the upper 90s. He misses plenty of bats with a mid to upper 80s slider that can flash plus. And he is able to mix in an effective, firm changeup with fade. He will still throw some bullpens left-handed to work on his low to mid-90s fastball and low 80s slider combination. I'm telling you, Al, I mentioned to you earlier when we were talking about this guy, I said, just think, when this guy actually does make it to the majors, him as a right-handed pitcher in the rotation, but on the days he doesn't start for the Cardinals, could he be an effective left-handed bullpen option as well?
As a left-handed, I got you.
The guy might get 30-plus starts in a season and still get you 45 relief appearances.
That's a lot. That's a lot of throwing, though. It's a lot.
But
I know, but they're both
he's
different
not
arms.
one arm and the other. They throw bullpens all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
But they throw, on their off days, they'll throw a bullpen, but they're throwing it with the same hand.
Right.
This guy can throw a bullpen with the opposite.
Well, that's food for thought there, Dan. I kind of like that. Coming on a day that he's a left-handed reliever, and we got this guy coming out of bullpen.
Yeah, and on the day that he needs to throw his bullpen as a starter, he can do that and still be available as a left-handed option out of the pen.
That's an option, Dan. I like it. I don't know if that'll happen, but you know what? It's a thought, and it's their opinion. I mean, think about it, guys.
It might if they would just call me.
There you go. Please call. So, all right, we're going to move on to our special feature. Dan wrote here, and he came up with this season was really disappointing and frustrating season. After last year's push to make the playoffs, and after taking Winnipeg, the league's best team, to Game 7 with an overtime loss. Everyone had high expectations for the 25-26 season. So here are our thoughts on some of the key topics that are being talked about and a few players on the Blues roster that been nothing but talk about all season. And we're going to start, first of all, with Jordan Bennington. We're not going to talk a lot about each one. It's a short segment on each one and our thoughts. Dan, what do you got for Jordan Bennington? What do you think is going to happen with Jordan?
What do I think?
Mm-hmm.
Or
What
do I hope?
Yeah.
I hope that the Blues were to trade him. And I know that people are just, oh my God, why would you trade him? Well, he's only signed for next year.
Right.
He has clearly lost the starting position behind Joel Hofer, the guy the ladies Gopher. Right?
Right.
So he has a high salary. Let's move him to another team. Okay? We can probably get something good for him. His trade potential is higher than it's going to be if you were to wait until the trade deadline. Plus, teams don't really trade for goaltenders at the trade deadline. So if you're going to move him, this summer's the time to move.
I think he needs to change the scenery, Dan. He's lost his focus, and he just doesn't have it right now.
Well, it can't help with Hofer being behind,
being the
who has
star.
been behind him and now taking over for him.
Right.
He's looking over his shoulder.
Right. His confidence is down. It's been beat. I think a change of scenery would do him good. I hate to see him go, but all the best. I think he's probably going to be traded.
His name and number should be up in the rafters.
Right.
For nothing else, what he did in 19, taking the Blues to the Stanley Cup Finals and winning.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Next, we're going to move on to another trade talk rumors concerning Robert Thomas. To trade or not to trade, Dan?
As Bill Shakespeare once said, yes. To trade or not to trade?
Not to trade.
That is the question. Well, in talking about Robert Thomas, I think the answer is not. And I'll tell you why. Robert Thomas has been this team's number one center for a few years. And yes, he's been hurt for part of each season, it seems like, for the last 2 or 3. But in order to move Thomas, you have to have someone to assume those minutes and that role.
Right.
Who else do they have to take on the number one center role?
Nobody. Not this time.
Not at this time.
Nope. And make it up 25 goals.
I mean, you have Pius Suter, but he's not a number one center.
No, he's
not. I don't even know that he should be on the team, Pius Suter.
That's a
I'd much rather trade him than Robert Thomas.
Sure.
So in order to trade him, you have to have somebody. Dvorsky's not ready. He didn't even play the number 2 center spot for most of the last year. Mm-hmm. I think he should take on that position a little bit more so this year. But I say you don't trade Thomas. You have to hold on to him.
That's food for thought on Thomas. I'd say we keep him. He's still young. He's 26 years old, Dan. We got all these young players around him. And he really shined the last 10, 15 games of the season.
As he's a young player himself, but he's an experienced young player who can pass on some wisdom and knowledge to the even younger players on how to stay alive in the NHL.
I gotcha. We're going to move on to, and we're going to quickly move on to the next couple of guys. We're going to start off with Jordan Kyrou. Recently just had knee surgery, Dan, and they didn't really talk about. Maybe that's what hurt him, in his low-scoring year here. Maybe he wasn't 100%, and we're just finding out about that. But I still think we need to keep Jordan Kyrou, who's potential 30, 35 goal scorer. Where are you going to get one of those guys?
I agree. They don't grow on trees. You don't have anybody else. I mean, yeah, you could probably make an argument for Holloway and Snuggerud being the next 30 goal scorers, but they haven't done it yet, let alone stayed healthy enough yet. So until you have one, and the other one, the third one that people will make the argument for is Justin Carbonneau. And maybe he is. He scored 51, but that was in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League.
Sure.
that's against 18, 19, 20-year-olds,
Right.
not against grown men. So let's give him an opportunity. Let's not just throw him in there like that.
Right.
I say you hold on to Kyrou also. I say he could give you a fine second line right winger until you develop somebody else. And we're going to talk about some potential lines here in a little bit, but I think you hold on to Kyrou because you don't have anybody else just yet.
And there's a lot of people out there who don't like Kyrou, but I think, like, unless you can replace him with somebody who can get 25, 30, 35 goals, I say we keep him, get him, bring him in healthy, and let's go from there.
Look, it's like my father-in-law used to say, you can't get rid of somebody unless you have somebody to step in and assume that position. And right now you don't have somebody.
No. Next is the 1-0. Well, we're going to skip that one for 1 second. We're going to go about maybe signing Dylan Holloway to an extension, Dan, and I think it might be a wise move.
I don't disagree. Look, when he's healthy, he's a dynamic player with a bunch of scoring potential. He showed that this past season and the season before, even though he got hurt. When he got hurt, he was lights out the season before. And then when he came back from an injury after the Olympic break, he was lights out again. So I say, do you give him a long contract with a lot of money? I don't know the answer to that.
Yeah.
I lean towards not, because he's got to be able to show you that he can stay healthy, and he hasn't done that.
Right.
We, I say he's on a RFA, restricted free agent.
Sure.
You could just pick up that contract right now and nothing else, and just let him know, look, show us you can stay healthy.
Sure.
We'd love to have you for long term. But he's got to show that you can
He's got to stay on the ice.
I like him. I like him a lot.
Me
I
too.
think he's, like I said, he could be a 30-goal scorer, but he's got to stay healthy.
Yep. That's a big challenge sometimes. Next, we'll make it quick. Pavel Buchnevich, for me, gone. I'm done. He has not done nothing for us.
His production has gone down every year after we got him.
Yeah, I hate to say it. I'm making it short and sweet. I think he needs to go. Then we got, we're getting close
We
to
got some line combinations.
Yeah, we
here,
got some
Al.
quick line combinations I think Dan wants to talk about. And
Yeah.
I kind of like him. Listen to what he's got
So
to say.
just based on what we have right now, because we don't know who they're going to
Yeah, who they're
sign,
going to sign. and
what they're
stuff.
going to do. So right now, I think that top line looks like Thomas Holloway, Snuggerud.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
That line was electric last year.
Mhm.
It should continue to be electric. The next line, Dvorsky, Neighbors, Kyrou. Dvorsky can handle the puck in open spaces because Neighbors going to take out
Sure.
the corners in the middle.
Right. He's always brushing the net, so you know he's going to be deflecting pucks and getting in front of that goaltender.
That's going to allow Dvorsky to find Kyrou, or even open up for Dvorsky to score also.
Sure. Kyron's going to be your sniper.
Yeah, he's gonna pick the pockets in there. So the third line is, I kind of like this line, just for the mere fact that there would be no pressure on any of the three of them. They could just go out there and play. They're not going to get all the minutes that the first two or even the fourth line is going to get. But that's Otto Stenberg centering Bergeron and Carbonneau. Bergeron can, he much like Neighbors patterns himself as a guy who can go in the corners in front of the net, a gritty guy. You need that. And then Carbonneau is Carbonneau. If you've been watching this podcast, you know everything you need to know about Justin Carbonneau, because I've talked your ears off
Numerous times, Carbonneau and all the talent he's got. They're talking about on the radio all the time about this kid. So we're not the only ones just talking about this kid. He definitely has got talent.
And that fourth line
Look at this.
has
like
two monsters on it.
I like this line.
Finley and Toropchenko. They're both 6'6", so they eat up a lot of space on the ice. And then Walker, he's just a human dynamo. He's like 5'8", but plays like he's 6'8".
He does. I love Walker, but sometimes he takes some penalties at the wrong time because the way he just likes to play hard. And I'm not gonna. I don't want to stop that. But he does take some. You
don't want to take that intensity away.
No, I don't want to stop him. I like Walker.
It's hard to get that back.
Yeah, for his size, he plays like he's bigger. So I like that line. Toropchenko and Finley. Wow, 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah,
big guys.
Let's move on to the defenseman.
Yeah, quick note on defenseman. Yep.
I think you got to move Parayko. Mm-hmm. He's got 2 years left. He's 34. Mm-hmm. He's got a creaky back. He's probably kicking himself not going to Buffalo now. But
that's true.
Oh, wow, that was his choice.
That's his choice. That's why he had no trade.
I think you have to move Fowler because after July, his no trade extension kicks in. Yep. So let's get rid of him. He's not the player that he was prior to this signing him that extension. Plus, you've got Broberg. Theo Lindstein showed that he's more than ready to assume a regular shift on this defensive squad. And, Tyler, don't call me Mother Tucker. He seems to hold his own.
Sure, he does.
On the right side, the right side's a little sketchy. If you get rid of Parayko,
right,
what do you have left? Well, you have Mayu.
You have Mayu.
Who, once he came back up from the minors, after being
I think it lit a fire on him.
His play really
stepped up.
Yeah, it really did.
He was moving in the offensive zone. He was attacking. He was a different guy after he came back.
I think maybe giving Kessel a regular opportunity instead of a game here and a game there, just to see what you have with him.
He's been with us for a little while.
Because here's the thing. If you get rid of Parayko, then you're going to have to acquire a defenseman. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe it's a little bit younger of a defenseman. I'm not saying he's going to be in his early 20s, but maybe he's late 20s. Maybe he's 30. I don't know. But somebody for a few years that can just kind of, hold a spot until Urasek is ready.
What about this? What about the veteran that came up with it that they traded for or they signed? Paul? What's his name? Paul or Paul?
He's a free agent.
He's a free agent. Okay.
And maybe you can
sign him on the cheap.
Maybe you sign him to a year or two contract.
Right.
And then, go from there. Because Urasek should be ready, if not by the trade deadline of this coming season, definitely be,
Sure. But that's what we got to say. Anything else on defenseman you want to say real quick? Anything else?
No.
We're good?
I'm good.
Okay, well, we're about to come to our closing, guys, but I'm going to sneak a small segment in that I didn't touch base with Dan yet about, but it's real quick. My lovely wife, Ann, came up with a Ann's Bugging segment, and I'll make it quick. You know what's bugging my wife, Ann? Besides our podcast, all these baseball players wearing all this gold around their neck. Where does it say you have to wear thousands of dollars of gold around your neck when you're trying to bat? When the minor leagues, little kids, you couldn't wear jewelry, man. I coached hundreds of baseball games, little league.
All had to take it off.
All had to take it. If you wore it, you had to sit, and you come to major leagues, make millions of dollars, and you want to show what money you got. I don't get it. Maybe maybe allow a single necklace with a cross or something, anything, or maybe just allow one. But
it just
was bugging my wife. I didn't throw that in there, guys.
Just leave the jewelry in the locker room.
Right. Leave it on a safety deposit box. Some of these guys really wear a lot of jewelry in it. I don't get it, but
maybe just leave the jewelry in your wife's
jewelry. Yeah.
Jewelry.
There you go.
You don't have to wear her jewelry.
We're going to finish on that note. I just had to bring that up for my wife because She keeps asking me why they wear all the jewelry. Anyway, I want to throw that in here, guys. Thanks for listening and watching. We're going to come to my closing here. We want to say from Al and Dan, thanks again, everyone, for watching Archway Sports Talk. I want to thank everyone for being patient with our video problems, guys, last few weeks. My family bought me a new computer for my birthday last week.
About time.
Yeah, we needed a new computer. They are awesome. I love them very much. We just released podcast number 16 last week and had, knock on wood, no issues. That'll probably come up on my microphone, but I'm sorry.
And we didn't have any on this one.
Please send comments or suggestions to our YouTube channel or our email address at podcoutus@gmail.com. And once again, thanks again for watching our 17th podcast with Al and Dan at Archway Sports Talk. Have a great and safe week, guys. Take care.